Hello everyone, today we are going to discuss the chemical properties of ethers. We have finished with the physical properties of ethers in our last video, and today we will be talking about what are the various chemical reactions which ethers can perform. Now if you talk about ethers, they are going to be relatively inert compounds, which means that they are not very reactive. The reason for them that is they don't have any special reactive site on them. They just have an oxygen atom. As a consequence, this under normal conditions will be not reacting, and hence they are generally going to be used as very good solvents. Okay, so this is one of the properties. Because of their inert nature, they will be used as solvents. The first reaction which we will be talking about them is action of hydrogen halides. Now what are hydrogen halides? We all know the formula is HX. Okay, and the order of reactivity of the various halides we all are aware is HI is the most reactive, followed by HBr, then HCl. Now this is always going to be the order of reactivity because this compound is going to be very unstable and it has got the low bond dissociation enthalpy. Okay, so those compounds which have got low bond dissociation enthalpy, they will break fast, they will decompose quickly, and thus they will give you H plus and I minus very readily, and hence the fastest hydrogen halide if you talk is HI, and it is going to be a very strong acid, we will say. So HI is going to break very quickly, so it will generate the H plus as well as the I minus very fast as compared to HBr and HCl, and we will say that it is a very strong acid which can be used by us for protonating other compounds. Hence these two will be less reactive. The second point is due to low bond dissociation enthalpy, we can say that I minus is going to be a very good leaving group. Okay, so these 2 points we have to remember. So we will react now the given ether with HX, which can be HCl, HBr or HI under cold conditions. Alright, so if you do at normal conditions, what will be the reaction over here? You will just break one of the bonds and we'll get RX plus this one will be, let us say, going with the X, and the RO will be going with the H. Alright, so one point we must remember is that out of the two groups, let us assume that one of them is very small and the second group is very big. So as a rule, the smaller one will be going with the halogen because it's very small. So the small sized goes with the halogen and the big size, let us say R dash, will be going with the OH, because a bigger nucleophile will be finding it easy to attack a smaller group. So the reaction stops over here if you do it under normal conditions or at very cold conditions. But if you continue further the reaction at higher temperature, then what will happen? One more molecule of HX will be consumed and you will get RX, that is R dash X plus water. So this is the complete reaction. It's a two-step reaction. If you do it under normal conditions, the reaction stops here, but if you do it under hot conditions by heating it, then you will directly get this product. 2 times you can write 1 R dash X, 1 RX, you will get 1 water also. Let me give you one example now. Suppose I start with dimethyl ether CH3OCH3 and I react it with HI, then what will I get? I'll be getting CH3I and CH3OH. This will be the first product. If we continue further the reaction with HI, then you will get CH3I plus water. So overall, if you write the reaction CH3O CH3 plus 2HI directly, first one and the second one, then what products are we writing? CH3I 2 times plus water molecules. So the first reaction of the ether is that when they react with hydrohalic acids, they give you alkyl halides and water. Okay, now we are going to take one example over here. I have taken the ether, which is unsymmetrical one, which is having a lower alkyl group, a smaller alkyl group over here, and a larger alkyl group on this side. We will see the step now. What is the mechanism? So when we react this with HX, the first step will be protonation. So the ether will be attacking the proton and we will get CH3O, CH2, CH3, and the hydrogen has got attached over there, so H, and this is becoming protonated ether, plus the halide ion has been removed from here. So this is going to be your first step, and in the second step, this whole thing, CH3O, CH2, CH3, will be attacked by the nucleophile. So the X minus attacks, out of the two, it will attack the smaller one because there will be little more steric hindrance for the bigger alkyl group. So we will attack here and this bond is going to break. So we get CH3X plus this whole molecule of alcohol is going to come out, OH. So this step is actually the slow step and it's SN2 reaction because two molecules are participating here. One is the nucleophile and other is the protonated ether. So this was the mechanism. If your alkyl groups are primary, they will follow SN2 mechanism. If alkyl group is secondary, then also they will follow SN2 mechanism. But if one of the alkyl groups is tertiary, they will follow SN1 mechanism. Let me show you the SN1 mechanism now by taking a very good example. So this ether which I am going to take is methyl tert butyl ether, in which the methyl group is very small and the tert butyl group is little bigger in size. So the moment you understand that one of the groups is tertiary, then the mechanism will not be SN2 because tertiary alkyl groups will easily come out as tertiary carbocations which are very stable. So here the mechanism is going to be totally different. In the first step, the usual protonation will take place. When the HX gets added, the proton will be attacked by the O oxygen atom and we will get CH3O, C, CH3, CH3 and CH3. The protonation has taken place, but there is a lot of steric hindrance over here for the attack, and this methyl group also is not attacked because the tertiary group automatically just gets removed. So this step is your second step, which is the slow step. Okay, unlike here, what did we have in the second step? The attack took place directly, so there was a simultaneous attack and the leaving group was also going out. But here the whole species breaks down to give you a carbocation, which is a tertiary carbocation, CCH3, CH3 and a positive sign, and the methanol is coming out. So this is your step number 2. And finally, what will happen in the last step? What will happen in the last step? As we all know, in the last step, the X minus will attack the tertiary butyl carbocation and it will form the tertiary butyl iodide. So the structure is going to look like this, tertiary butyl iodide. So this was the important thing for your exam because such questions are there, and you must know that if both the groups are primary, the smaller group will be going with the halogen. Okay, if one of the group is secondary, definitely the secondary is going to be a bigger one. So again the same rule, the smaller group goes with the halide. But if one of the groups is tertiary, then the halide will not go with the smaller group here, the halide will go with the bigger tertiary group because the mechanism is SN1. So this was SN1 because in the slow step only one molecule is participating. So you may just go through this mechanism once again. Now I'm going to take the example of aryl alkyl ether like anisole. Often question is asked in the exam, and in your NCERT textbook also you will see such questions. Now if you react this with HI, you have to break one of the bonds. Either you will break the bond A or the bond B, let us say like this. So as we all know, the carbon oxygen bond here is never going to break due to partial double bond character. So this bond is never going to break. So we will break the bond B, and when we break that bond B, we will be getting oxygen and H, phenol, and the CH3 will go with the I. So this is very important for you to understand. And if you break the bond A, let us say, somebody might break it erroneously, so we will get these two answers and they will attach H and I. So that way some children might do, and this is going to be your wrong answer and will give you these many marks in the exam. So this is your right answer. So please remember that whenever benzene is attached with oxygen, the bond is not going to break, and we will always get phenol as one of the products. The second reaction, chemical reaction of ethers, is electrophilic substitution reactions. As we all know, they are not very reactive compounds, hence we have to study only two reactions of ethers. The first one which we did, hydrolysis, the reaction by using HX, cleavage of carbon oxygen bond, and the second is electrophilic substitution reaction. And electrophilic substitution of ethers will be for aromatic ethers, okay, because they are very good electron rich compounds, so they will be attracting the electrophiles towards themselves. What kind of group is alkoxy group? So this complete group is alkoxy group, and it is an electron donating group, and it is an ortho para directing group. So you may draw the resonance structures of this compound on your own. I am sure you know this structure. I will draw one structure and show you in case you don't know. So the electrons can easily, this is resonance. Due to conjugation this happens, and you will be getting these two electrons coming over here. Rest all the electrons you have to draw as they were, and then double bond will come here, oxygen R and a plus sign. Why is a plus sign coming? Because oxygen has lost its electrons in making this coordinate bond. So in this way, if you go on drawing the structures, there will be total 5 structures, and in that you will see that the ortho and the para carbons are going to become very, very rich in electron density, and all the electrophiles will attack ortho position and para positions in ethers. Let us see some of the reactions now. Now let us take anisole as the example, which is very simple for us. Anisole, you must know this name because in the board exams also sometimes this name is found, and children then fail to understand what is anisole. We are going to brominate it first in ethanoic acid, which is the solvent for bromine. Now when this happens, we will get bromine attached at which positions? Yes, ortho position and para position. That's the right answer. So we'll be getting para position as the major answer over here, para bromoanisole, and the minor answer will be ortho bromoanisole. And of course the hydrogen which was lost from the positions ortho and para will be going out as H plus, and the byproduct is Br. The second reaction will be Friedel-Crafts reaction, which we all are aware of. It's a very simple thing, simple reaction. Friedel-Crafts reactions are of two types, alkylation reaction and acylation reaction. What do we use in alkylation reaction? Yes, so we use CH3Cl in the alkylation, and also we are using sometimes catalysts like anhydrous aluminium chloride. Similarly for acylation, we are going to use acyl chloride, that is CH3COCl, and the same catalyst anhydrous aluminium chloride. The role of catalyst we have already discussed, that it will help in polarizing the reagent and facilitate the attack. Okay, so it is acting as a catalyst. It makes the reaction faster. Let's do alkylation first by using CH3Cl. And what will be the products? It's simple to understand. Ortho and para positions will get substituted by alkyl groups. So these reactions are simple ones. So the CH3 plus group you have to attach here. So CH3 you will attach, Cl and H will go out as HCl. Similarly at para also you can have the same answer. And must remember that we are not balancing the equation here, because in organic chemistry we don't have to balance the equations. So this is the para-methylanisole, and that's going to be your major product, and this is going to be your minor product. Okay, now let's do acylation. For acylation we are going to use any of the acyl halides. We are going to use CH3COCl, acetyl chloride, in the presence of anhydrous aluminium chloride, and we again have the same type of answers, ortho and para. So we'll be having COCH3 attached, this whole thing COCH3 attached, and we have another one, that is OCH3, and we'll be having COCH3 attached over here, and that's your major and this is your minor product, and the byproduct is HCl. The name of this famous compound, if you just look at this complete thing, acetophenone. Acetophenone is the name of this compound, and it has got 2-methoxy. Ketone is more important than ethers. Okay, so we are going to name this as a ketone and not as an ether first. So it's, this whole thing is called as acetophenone, and it is 2-methoxy acetophenone, which is the minor product, and 4-methoxy acetophenone is the major product. And now we come to the last reaction of electrophilic substitution, that is nitration. So in nitration we all must remember the nitrating mixture, which is nothing but concentrated HNO3 plus H2SO4. The function of H2SO4 is a very good catalyst and a good dehydrating agent. So NO2 from here will be getting attached at ortho position and para position. So the answers are quite simple. We'll be getting ortho nitroanisole, and the second product is going to be para nitroanisole. So this is your going to be my major product, and OH minus from here and the H from here will come out as water. So these were all the important reactions, chemical properties of ether. Apart from this, we will be doing some questions. Let's solve some of the questions from your NCERT textbook. Now these are, the first one is ether reacting with hydrogen bromide, and both the groups you can just see, primary, this is also primary, this is a smaller primary. So the small group will be going with the bromide. The small group goes with the bromide. So we'll be getting CH3Br as the product, and CH3, CH2, CH2, and O also has to be taken. OH is the other product. In the second case, phenitol reacts with HBr. You remember we will never break this bond, so we'll break this bond. So when we break that bond, we will get benzene with oxygen, and the hydrogen will be going with that, making phenol, and C2H5 will go with the bromide. In the third case, the same thing, same compound phenitol, but it is undergoing nitration, and it is again an ether, so it is an electron donating group, it is an ortho para directing group. So you will be getting the answer at ortho position and para position. Okay, so we will be writing ortho position, you will write nitro, 2-nitro ethoxybenzene and 4-nitro ethoxybenzene, OC2H5, and paranitro, major product. And what is the byproduct? OH minus and H plus from here, water is the byproduct. In this compound again HI you're using, and both the groups primary and tertiary are there. So what is the rule? If tertiary is there, we will follow SN1 mechanism, and if both are primary, we have followed SN2 mechanism. So in SN1 mechanism, what is the reactive species which is forming? Tertiary carbocation was forming. So this carbocation will go with the I minus. So we'll get tertiary butyl iodide, and this smaller one will be forming C2H5OH. So that's the end of this video, and please revise this chapter is quite important. Today we have finished this chapter, alcohols, phenols and ethers. All are advised to go through the series, whole series. It will help you immensely. Take care. Bye bye.